Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be testing the reliability of a revolver versus semi-automatic pistol in combat conditions where they both might be exposed to like sand or mud. So let's fire a couple of shots with these two guns, right? Good. That works fine. That works fine. All right, so next thing we're going to do is I got some medium over here. Basically this is the stuff that you use to clean your cases when you reload. So it's fine. It's kind of like sand. I think it's like crushed corn cob. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoop this up, and I'm going to pour it into the gun on one side, and I'm going to pour it into the gun on the other side. All right. All right, so now let's take a couple of shots. Let's see how this gun works. I have to squeeze it really hard because some of that crap got caught up in the gears there. Nope, this fire, this fire. That's interesting. Got live rounds in there. I'm squeezing the trigger, but it's not rotating. In fact, it's not after we fired that one shot. There's a piece that's supposed to come up over here and lock into this wheel over here, and that's not coming up. Let's see what's going on with this thing. All right, now it just went back to working. All right, so that's open. All right, it's now back to working. Let's take a couple. Actually, let's take a couple. Let's do the same test with the semi-automatic. Let's line this up. Forgot which way this rotates. That rotates. Oh, it's not rotating. So I'm pulling the hammer back, and it's not rotating, which means there's a spur that's supposed to come up and engage these gears over here. You see how these gears over here have like a little bit of like corn cob and stuff like that on them. Some of that medium, right? You see it there? Right, because the gears on this thing are exposed. Let's try the semi-automatic. We're gonna do the same test. I didn't even get to the part where I was gonna like really bury this in there. All I'm doing is just pouring it. All right, pouring it on one side. Pouring it to the other side, front to end. Okay. There you go. It's got that medium all over the gun. The cocker works fine. Let's get back to this gun over here. Let's see what it's going to take to get this gun to work. That's working now. That's working. That's working. Okay, so whatever got in the gears cleared itself out. Let's do this again. Let me get the shot cases out of there. So the issue that we're running into here is the guts of the revolver are exposed, right? So you see over here, this opening. Well, that opening right there is a straight line to these gears right here, right? And you can see there's a little piece of corn still stuck on it. And if the teeth don't, because every time you pull back the trigger, there's a spur that comes up and pushes on those gears. If it doesn't properly engage, it's not going to rotate properly. Let's blow you out. Slow this guy up. That's the same thing. I'm scooping this up. I'm pouring it on the gun over here. Okay, so we're doing the same thing both sides. We're just pouring it full extension. Nope. That's working. Oh, there's the magazine in there. Do I put it around the chamber? I don't know. We're gonna find out. I remember if I put it around the chamber. Got a failure to feed there. Okay, that's working. Load up this magazine some more. Now, I did try this test earlier off camera, and I got a really bad jam with the Revolver. I got it. I mean, it was actually the first time I did it. I wish I had a chance to get it. I should have put it on video, because that medium got in there so bad that I could not pull the trigger and rotate the cylinder. That was off camera. But that was like I had to like really like take the gun apart. You know, I had to clean the gun out. See which are the ones that have been hit. Take you out. But those two are good. And it doesn't make a difference that these are 22s. You're gonna run into the same issue whether it's a 22 or 38 or 44 Magnum. And the issue that we're having is stuff is getting into these gears over here because it's open. There's an opening over here, and stuff's getting into the gears. And also earlier I found that there was something that some stuff that got into that hole right there. And that's the hole that comes up and locks the cylinder in place. Yeah, it's not fully coming up to lock it in place, because it's locking it in one so it's not coming up all the way. Let me see if I pull the trigger forward. So there's still stuff in there that's not letting this. But this should lock either way, left or right. Yeah, now it is. Now it's clear. See, now it's locking either way, left or right. Before, when it was closed, they would just, which means that if it doesn't lock in position where this doesn't go left or right, you can end up with a situation where your chamber is not properly lined up with the barrel. And what can happen is, if it's not properly lined up, you might still be able to ignite it. And what's going to happen is the bullet is not going to go straight down the barrel. It's going to go, you know, basically to the. It's gonna hit the chamber hole here, or not even chamber hole, the barrel hole on the edge, and that can cause the gun to blow up. So this has to be locked in place so that there's no way that it can be in between those two positions. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this with a 22. So if I do have a failure like that, it's only with a 22. It's not with something a lot more powerful. Let's try this again. Right. Got that there. Okay, same deal. We're doing the same thing with both sides, flipping it over, clean. Let's see if we'll shoot. Good. That time it's working. Yep, relative speed. I suspect that something got in there. That was the last one. One in the chamber. Because I don't think that some of these 22s were feeding. I think some of them might have been getting stuck in the magazine. And I think that the reason for that is because I think at some point I had the magazine out of the gun and some stuff got in there, and that might also be causing a problem. Let's continue this test and see how things develop. Got around the chamber. So presumably you pick up the gun and you tap it to kind of shake it loose. You wouldn't probably, in a combat condition, you wouldn't try and clean it any more than that. Safety out. Now this does have the decocker, which I don't like because that's like one more thing that can go wrong with this gun. I prefer guns that don't have safeties on them. Let's load this guy up again. Okay, so, nope. It's not locking in place. Something has gotten in there. There it is. Now it's locking in place. Something has gotten in there that prevents. See that little piece right there? That little piece right there. Pull my glass up. There you go. That little piece right there, right? That's what pops up to lock the cylinder in place so that it won't turn left or right. And a piece of that medium has fallen in there and it's not working reliably, where sometimes it's locking and sometimes it's not locking. Give it a tap, see how it does. Empty. All empty. Try some more. Got around the chamber. Now, a couple of times when this gun has a magazine disconnect. So if the magazine's not in, basically you get a dead trigger. A couple of times when I went to pull the trigger, I had a dead trigger, which means that magazine disconnect was not properly working. So some of this crap got in there and prevented that disconnector from being properly activated. Give it a tap. Okay, so got failure to eject. Okay. So what I'm seeing with the revolver is when we do have a problem with it, right? And what I'm seeing with the semi-automatic pistols, when we do have a problem with it, it's just a matter of tapping it and racking it, and that seems to fix the problem a lot faster than when we have a problem with the revolver. When it seems like when I have a problem with the revolver, there's more work involved in getting this thing unjammed and getting the garbage out of the gears and out of the little nooks and crannies where that stuff seems to be getting into. Okay, so right now it's locking in place, right? Get off to the side. Give it a tap, just like we did the other gun. Lock, okay. So, I mean, I'll let you guys decide for yourselves, but it seemed to me that when, I mean, we did have some issues with both of these guns as far as crap getting into them and causing issues. It seemed that when in this specific test, right? So, in this specific test that I did, it seemed that when the semi-automatic was having an issue, right, and you can see how there's like little pieces of that stuff on the magazine. So I think that's the problem why we were having disconnect, you know, dead triggers, is because stuff that's on the magazine that was interfering with the disconnector. So another reason why I tell people don't get, you know, magazine disconnectors in guns are terrible things. But it seemed that when I was having a problem with this gun, it seemed like it was easier to fix the problem. Right, whereas the problem that I had with this one, which was this piece over here not coming up to lock the cylinder in place, that was the one problem I had. And then the other problem I had is at one point that spur that comes out to rotate the cylinder, that was not popping up. And then off camera, I had the very first time I tried this test today, that medium got in here in such a way that I was pulling the trigger and there was absolutely like no rotation. I had to work with it for a while to try and get that medium out. I'm sorry I didn't get that on camera. But anyway, you guys decide for yourselves. I mean, theoretically, as I'm looking at this, the semi-automatic is closed, right? So there's less stuff in there. Actually, you know something? Let's just do one more test just for the hell of it. I want to see how this goes. I want to try one more thing. Do one more test and see how this works out. We'll put that there. Okay, so I can see what's happening with this gun. The problems that I'm having with this gun are basically feeding problems out of the magazine. So, crap's gotten into the magazine. I think I mean, this 22 has a shitty spring, you know, the weak springs, and it's not pushing the rounds up to feed hard enough. So I think that might be specific to this 22, you know, and to the weakness of the magazine itself. So that's what I'm saying. Let's try the same thing with this one. Let's load you up. And part of the reason I wanted to do this with 22s is because I didn't know how many rounds it was going to take to get through this test. I didn't know what to expect with this, so I wanted to use something that I knew I had, like, you know, lots of ammo to work with. Yep. Dead. Yep, there you go, unjammed it. So crap got stuck in the wheel over here that would not let me rotate this. All right, is it working now? No, dead. No, not. Yep. Now it's working. You all set? Nope. There you go. I did get a lot of misfires out of that. I think the conclusion of this test is don't say that any gun is 100% reliable, because under certain conditions, all guns will fail. Okay, if you look at the gears on this thing, okay, because it's exposed, you can see how that stuff got on the gears. Okay, this gun is not going to work properly with that stuff in the gears. Okay, so you know, you can't say that any gun is 100% reliable, because under some conditions, any gun will jam. And I think that one of the things I tell people is don't rely on the guns, rely on your skill. Rely with your familiarity with the firearm to know that when it stops working, you know, how to get the gun up and running, or how to get another gun up and running. Okay, you know, to be able to go to a backup gun or to a backup magazine, because in this case, I think the problems with the magazine, so you gotta go up to a backup magazine. So that's what. So I think that's really the conclusion of this test. Don't rely on any gun. Rely on your skills, right? Because that's what's going to save your life. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop some comments below. Let me know what you guys think. This test was just done in real time. Whatever happened, happened. You guys sort for yourselves. I just wish you had seen the first one where I did off camera, where I mean you know, this thing was just stuck, and I couldn't even get it open. I had to almost hit this to get this open. Anyway, now I got to clean this gun, so they got all this shit in them. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.